Romans 11:30 through 36 says, "For just as you once were disobedient to God, but now have been shown mercy because of their disobedience, so these also have been disobedient. Because of the mercy shown to you, they may also be shown mercy. For God has shut up all in disobedience, so that he may show mercy to all." Oh, the depth of the riches of both the wisdom and knowledge of God, how unsearchable are his judgments and how unfathomable his ways. For who has known the mind of the Lord, or who has become his counselor? Or who is first given to him that it might be paid back to him again? For from him and through him and to him are all things. To him be the glory forever. Amen. Well, if you're joining us in reading through this 60-day reading plan, today's reading is Romans 11, and I encourage you to read that passage. Now, many of you know that I have a real love for the early church. Many of you also know that I have a very strong relationship with Eastern Orthodoxy because it is through them that I learned about the early church. But what most of you may not realize is that in the early church, and that follows somewhat through today, there was an anti-Semitic feeling. And there is a view that it is we who are holy and they who are unholy. God is not finished with Israel. Now, I'm not suggesting that the Israel that is currently in place is a nation that is the final format of Israel prior to any tribulation or millennial reign. What I am suggesting is that in some form or fashion, Israel will return and we are grafted into it. Now, there are a number of theological principles to which people hold. One group of theological principles hold that the promises of Israel are now under the church. And there's another group of theological principles that hold that the promises of Israel belong to Israel and not to the church. And finally, there's another group that has really read Romans 11. God is not done with Israel. God is not done with the church. Somehow the church and Israel are related in ways that we cannot understand. What we can understand is that we have been grafted into Israel. Israel is a root, and we've been grafted into that root. We are not to denigrate Israel or Judaism. God has a plan for them, and it's his plan not to destroy them. Because God has a plan for them, we must, for lack of a better term, look to protect Israel and the Jewish people from Satan's attack. And over the centuries, Satan has attempted to remove Israel and all the Jews from the world. So far, he's failed, and he will ultimately fail. But it is our jobs as believers to stand by and help Jews and the Jewish nation in any way we can. Now, this does not mean that we approve of everything that nation of Israel does. But what it does mean is that we are to pray for Israel, and we are to support the Jewish nation as a whole. We might not like some of the things they do. I'm sure they don't like some of the things that we do. But we are brothers and sisters in the sense that they are physically related to Abraham and we are spiritually related to Abraham. Now, we need to regularly pray for Israel and our relationship with the Jewish nation. Again, not necessarily the political nation that is currently in existence, but rather the people of the nation of Israel that will ultimately recognize the salvation of Christ.